GTA 3 is the first three-dimensional game in the Grand Theft Auto series, set in Liberty City, a fictional city inspired by New York. Previously cloning Vice City. In order to keep completing the trilogy, today I will try to recreate GTA 3 using Unity and RTX technology. Well, the first thing to do is to get the map, search on Google to see if someone has done the work for me, and it seems there is no easy way. After some research in modding forums, I found a tool to extract the map from the original game. However, the process takes 2 hours. In the meantime, I present to you World Warship, the sponsor of this video. It is a free-to-play PC game with over 44 million players. You can play as a lone wolf or with your friends. You can control over 400 historical ships in the game across more than 40 unique maps with changing weather. 5 classes of warships exist: battleships, destroyers, carriers, cruisers, and submarines. There are ultra-realistic graphics in the game, with water effects and textures that make the seas look nearly identical to real ones. New content is published monthly, keeping the game alive. I encourage you to download World of Warships via the first link in the description and use the code FIRE to get a starter pack with 200 coins. The Battleship, 20 Restless Fire camouflages, 1 million credits, and 7 days of premium account completely free. Thanks to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. I have the map now. I imported it into Unity and oh no, it is at 10 FPS. I did not get what was wrong until I clicked on the map. It turns out that for every model, there were 3 clones. The reason behind this is that Rockstar applied an optimization technique called LOD, which stands for level of detail. Essentially, this means that a lower quality model is shown as the camera pulls back, allowing the graphics card to conserve resources on details that won't be visible. The problem is that the application I used to extract the map does not set it up correctly, and rather than activating or deactivating the models, it keeps all clones active together. I really do not want to manually adjust 10,000 objects, so I think I will just delete all the duplicate models instead. Despite that, the performance isn't perfect, so I chose the less sophisticated option of reducing the rendering distance. Time to enhance the graphics. I set up post-processing and tried using warm lighting, but I feel it looks better with cool lighting. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Then I thought about adding volumetric clouds, but my PC can't handle it anymore. So instead, I used a 360 image. And well, if for some reason you fall off the map, the graphics become hyper-realistic. Speaking of hyper-realism, check out these trees. Not even in a Pokemon did they go this far. As I strolled through the map, I stumbled upon this stadium that had a curious word painted on top of it. And just beneath that, I can't figure out why there are random models tucked away. It's time to place the ocean. I created a giant plane and added a water shader. But there's a problem. All structures below sea level flood dramatically, like the subway or underground lines. Doesn't matter. Less work for me. Later, I came across this dam, and logically, there should also be water inside, but I can't just place another default plane on top, because it looks horrible. So, I captured a screenshot, and in a modeling program, I created a plane that matched the dam's shape, imported it into Unity, and it looks terrible. XD, perhaps it's the V's. Just put V's in Blender and that's all XD. Now I need to implement the character. I downloaded the original model and reused the code I had created for Vice City. I also wanted to reuse the animations, but it seems that's not going to be possible. I have to download all the animations again. Then I programmed Cloud to swim, unlike Rockstar, who got lazy and made up a story about how the water in Liberty City was supposedly contaminated, and that's why swimming wasn't allowed. But there's a trick here. The character isn't really swimming, he's just walking on an invisible floor with a swimming animation and a water sound effect. And that's it, the character is complete. Oh no. Okay, I will add weapons, but just one, since time is short. First, download a rifle model, and upon right-clicking, Claw will aim and get closer to the camera. After that, when you left-click, the recoil animation plays along with particles and sound, and an invisible ray is sent to find the impact point. However, there's an issue. The character remains rigid when aiming vertically, so I adjusted it to allow some body lean. Now it behaves like in real life, but really, what's the point of adding weapons if there are no targets to shoot at? So I need to add pedestrians. I'll use Vice City models to save time. And well, obviously, wearing a bikini in New York is the new trend. It's definitely not an office-filled place. But for the artificial intelligence to work correctly, I needed to place dots manually all over the map so that pedestrians know where to walk. In the Vice City video, I had a hard time with that, but this time it will be a little different. Instead of placing this one by one, I programmed an autocomplete function. What took me a minute, now I do in 5 seconds. Epic. In the end, I ensured that pedestrians would trigger physics after taking a hit. And haha, this time the AI has some intelligence as it entirely disregards player threats. We don't want to stroll through the city on foot, so now it's time to introduce cars. I actually recycled the vehicles from Vice City. I programmed its artificial intelligence, which basically accelerates when it doesn't detect any obstacles. And to determine its path, I need to repeat the same process for pedestrians, essentially placing dots across the map with the autocomplete function. Of course, it loses some precision since it's not done manually. This represents buried dots, resulting in some curious bugs, like this car that's stuck underground. These are showing self-destructive tendencies. Honestly, at this level of bug, I'm already in competition with the final version. Then I made it so the player could get into the car. Basically, by pressing the F key, the AI calculates the route to the door. Then the animation of getting into the car plays. Here's another little trick. In reality, the player doesn't actually get into the car. It's simply an animation that visually shows the player entering the car. Physically, they remain outside. Finally, I made it so cars and pedestrians appear and disappear dynamically depending on where the player is looking. To determine their positions, there's an invisible sphere that continuously detects the points we set up before. Finally, I added a radar, which is essentially a giant image that covers the whole map. After that, I added a basket, created the main menu, the settings menu, and the loading menu. And that's it. The game is complete. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to implement the police feature, so it feels as if I'm playing the game with cheats turned on. This game is available on PC, and I'll provide the download link in the description. Why not make it available for Android? I genuinely tried to release it for mobile. A few days ago, I tweeted about porting Vice City. I tested it on this phone, and in the first 10 seconds, it ran at 60 frames per second. Then it got hot and dropped down to 15 frames per second. So, to ensure all phones can run it, I will need to lower the graphics, thus losing the original purpose. Why bother with the subpar version when the original game is out there? But good news is coming for Android, so if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe for more games in 24 hours and sometimes RTX. This is Luis Dev, and I'll catch you in the next video.